2 new matches have been added to Crown Jewel. We've got more details about Chris Jericho's new AEW contract, and WWE and Disney Plus have announced a partnership. Stay tuned for the news. It's Saturday morning once again. These seem to come around very, very fast. It's the end of the week, isn't it?
End of the week.
For the
it's
weekend.
my Friday.
It is your Friday. It's also my Friday too, and I'm very excited to dive right into the news with you this morning, Sam, because we're kicking things off with 2 more matches being announced on SmackDown last night for the upcoming Crown Jewel Premium Live event in just 2 weeks' time.
Yeah,
that's how.
And then we've got Survivor Series 2 weeks after that.
So after that we've got Full Gear, and then a week after that we've got Survivor Series.
Brilliant.
It's a lot of wrestling over the next few weeks, but we've got even more because 2 matches have just been announced. On last night's SmackDown, the first match that was announced was a steel cage match pitting Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross against each other.
Nice.
Now, it's a return match from Extreme Rules. What's your thoughts?
Crown Jewel is always one of those events where it does just feel like, it's a big house show, isn't it? But it is canon. Yep. So they do like to forward things through these shows. But, Drew is like white hot right now for me. Kross is somebody I'm really excited about having back. This has been a nice aggressive back and forth between the pair, especially, that strap match was...
Strap match was pretty delicious. I really enjoyed that one.
So, I'm quite excited because steel cage and then, Triple H, which means, it's going to be a whole new cage, hopefully. And it'll just be the old cage. Bring back the blue bar cage, Trips.
Yeah, I mean,
bring it back.
I was playing WWE 2K22 the other day.
It's impossible to look at. It's impossible to see what's going on, and that's the fun of it.
Well, for me, I really hope Triple H, it's completely sort of adjacent to it, but the Hell in a Cell, I hope he gets rid of the red the next time.
Yeah, the red's really distracting because I get why, just changing it up a bit, Brandon. It's not too much of a change, and it doesn't affect the view that much, but I just thought it was easier to look through the silver.
Well, Drew McIntyre issued the challenge last night, steel cage match. I think this has a lot of potential to be really, really good. It's a good sort of blow off to the feud.
And that's it, like a cage is historically the way to blow off a feud, like way back in the day. So,
although somehow Scarlett will still get involved. I mean, that seems to be the story of the feud. Like Karrion Kross, Andrew was saying yesterday,
they have guards around the ring. She just sort of like hovers down Mission Impossible style to hand him a weapon.
That'd be brilliant. But Andrew was saying yesterday that he's been enjoying Karrion Kross's stuff for the most part, but he's like, I'm not too hooked on it because Scarlett just keeps getting involved. Well, Andrew, this is for you. This will keep Scarlett out. I'm excited for this. I think Drew kind of needs to win this match, though. Yeah. But that's not the only match that was announced for Crown Jewel. Omos will be taking on Braun Strowman.
Yes, in the most monstrous monster match ever monstered.
Yeah, I mean, that's the height involved. I saw a photo of it, and I'm sure we'll have one right there, where the height difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
And my God.
It's Omos is somebody who initially everybody was like, okay, another giant. But he's somebody when, Undertaker was talking around the time of his official announcement that he was kind of, walking off. Yeah. Omos was somebody he said he had a lot of time for, and somebody he said he really enjoyed, like, sort of coaching, I guess, and giving him advice and trying to steer him and down the right path of being, a big man wrestler.
Absolutely. Well, Omos managed to knock the smaller Strowman out of the ring, which is a very strange sentence to say, that someone was bigger than Braun Strowman. But we're going to see this match. Will it be good? Only time will tell. But it is going to be really big men just hitting each other.
Which is what, international crowds historically, we like a bit of the beef slapping against the beef.
I think it's going to basically be a rerun of Bobby Lashley versus Omos from WrestleMania, but I am fine with that. That was good fun. But we're going to take
a cheeky destroyer.
Maybe a destroyer. Maybe I could see Braun just picking him up and throwing him out the ring with a Canadian destroyer.
How could you military press Omos? It would be like...
Sam, this is Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
He's a monster among men. But we're looking at Chris Jericho's new AEW contract, because we've covered that recently. He's recently re-signed with AEW through until January of 2026. So he's there for a long time, but the Wrestling Observer newsletters have given us a bit more insight into that. So of course he signed the new contract that would take him through. His old deal was worth $3 million per year, but he's got a bit more money. There's no actual word on actually how much it is, but He said his old deal was a 3-year contract with a 2-year option, similar to timing of the Young Bucks and Adam Page, and was set to expire at $3 million per year. This past week, he signed a 3-year contract extension with a much higher dollar figure. He said, we don't know the raise, but it's a bigger contract, and he said, obviously, the biggest contract of his life. That's insane.
Yeah, it's
well
not
earned,
unexpected, though. It's
yeah.
not unexpected. Jericho being just the absolute master of reinvention, as we say time and time and time again. The guy just seems to be able to move through whatever he wants to do and get the exact response he wants and keep the audience entirely here.
Yeah.
Wherever he goes, whatever he's doing. And that is just more powerful than anything in the wrestling industry. On the point of the figures, though, I don't think we'll ever find out, obviously, but it's one of those things where I think if wrestling continues to push forward in a more sports style, you know, if it's going to kind of re-enter mainstream media with more of a sports slant, then we might start seeing more reports. But at the same time, it's quite a guarded thing, isn't it? So the fact that it was the best contract he's ever seen, I mean, Jesus.
He's been in the industry for so long, that 30 years now.
Yeah.
It's no surprise that he's getting bigger and bigger contracts as his career progresses, and it's no surprise that AEW is just throwing money at him because, as the next story is about to cover, WWE were expecting Chris Jericho to return there at the end of his current contract. So the giant is $3 million per year contract that was going to expire in January. WWE wanted him back.
It's one of those things where if they expected him back, and it's the thing that where the language is quite that it was expected he would go back there. It's like, okay, well, why was that expectation there?
Yeah, well.
You know, there's the whole thing with the fact that it was shocking that he turned up in New Japan. It was shocking that he went to AEW. It would be equally as shocking if he made the jump back.
Oh, absolutely.
But was something said? Like initially, where I'll be back one day, or
we've heard like all the stories and rumors that it's like Chris Jericho went to Vince McMahon with a contract and was like, "This is what they're going to offer me," and he basically he called his bluff, and Vince was like, "Go and sign it, whatever." Yeah. All right then. So Chris Jericho did, and then Vince was like, the hell, why did you sign that? But Wrestling Observer Newsletter has given a report saying there was an expectation in WWE that when Jericho's deal expired, that he would go back for a final WWE run and the Hall of Fame at the end. He maintained a good relationship with Vince McMahon, but McMahon is now out of the picture, in case you don't know, and his name would have been super valuable for a perception standpoint, because he would have been probably bigger than Cody jumping over.
Oh yeah.
Like he's that name.
I think just with the legacy that goes with Jericho and the fact that, you know, as I said, it was shocking when he left. It'd be even more shocking when he returned. He's somebody who I don't think anybody, given the run he's on, I don't think anybody would expect him to leave AEW.
No, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
It's not something entirely impossible, though. I see Chris Jericho going into the Hall of Fame. How can he not? And that usually these days means, hey, come back. We're going to slap you on the cover. We're going to do a special edition of the game. You're going to come out of Mania and do a wave, and you're going to get your ring.
That's possibly the best deal he's got his entire life. He gets to wrestle, mentor young talent, and then go back for a Hall of Fame sort of run at some point in the future. But we're going back to look at SmackDown last night, because even though he's returned, there's still a lot of cryptic messaging and mystery surrounding Bray Wyatt. So Sam, tell me all about it.
So we've got, as you said, you know, we had the QR codes appearing in random places, and then we expected when he returned, okay, he's back, that's it, it's done. If there's any more of this stuff, it'll be for somebody else. But no! Because there was a QR code that featured on last night's SmackDown, and it links to a page on WWE.com that shows a fake psychological evaluation for Bray Wyatt. Now, the analysis shows that his actual date of birth, it shows his actual date of birth, May 23rd, 1987. It also shows that he refused to sign the document, with it going on to say that he has difficulty showing remorse or empathy/conflict with social norms. It continues by saying that he's been disregarding or violating the rights of others, and the rest of the evaluation is redacted. Ooh. So this is leaning quite nicely into the idea that the Bray we saw deliver that promo is the Bray we're getting. Yeah. And we're getting the actual Bray for the first time.
Wyndham almost.
Yeah, so we're getting, you know, potentially this person, this figure who's going to be feuding with himself by the feel of it. It's strange, but I mean, this doesn't confirm that at all. It just gently pushes things into we've got a psychological evaluation of Bray Wyatt, the individual.
I think this is my favorite tease so far of anything, because it's like, oh, this is a bit more, not real, but like they've got a lot more little details that they're hiding in there. Like that one flashed up. You wouldn't, now he's returned. Folk aren't going to be looking for them as much.
That, and it's quite sinister as well, because who's doing it?
Yeah.
In kayfabe, who's the one that's doing this? Is Bray having moments of lucidity, like when we see him in the ring, and then is he becoming that Uncle Howdy masked weirdo?
Yeah.
That's leaking this? Is it somebody else? Is it GTV all over again?
It feels very Split.
Who threw
so
the pie?
maybe it's M. Night Shyamalan for Split.
Can you imagine?
Like I feel that's the character we're getting from him. Is very much the character from Split, James McAvoy's character, which I am all for. What a fantastic film! Go and watch.
Sorry, it is a great film, but the second you mentioned M. Night Shyamalan, my brain went straight to Robot Chicken with, wow, what a twist.
I mean, that's his MO in it. But, actually, I think there's a lot of M. Night Shyamalan films on a streaming service called Disney+.
Yes.
WWE is set to appear on Disney+, which is a fantastic news for everyone in the Philippines, because that's where it's taking place. WWE announced a second partnership with Disney+, but this time, obviously, in the Philippines, as I mentioned. Disney announced yesterday that they'd be expanding their streaming service to the Philippines starting November 17th, and part of the content listed in their expansion was premium live events and video on demand from WWE. They've worked together in the past. I think we covered back in January that that WWE and Disney Plus Hotstar would host the WWE network in Indonesia. It's a very exciting prospect, and I would quite like for them to partner up with Disney Plus over here.
I think that there's a couple of things that go into it, though. So when you've got a service like Disney Plus, yes, it's a Disney proprietary service. Disney have spent billions developing it, I imagine. And then, it's a case of the content and licensing that content and getting it all in place. I think when you have certain markets, it may be easier to do it. But I think in a market like ours, where it's slightly more established, where, TV companies have rights to X, Y, and Z, there'll need to be a lot of that handled before it moves over. But the ease of having it on something like Disney Plus is amazing, because, it puts it on the same plinth as everything else that's on there. It's going to open up a lot of doors for it with people who maybe haven't watched in a while, and they're like, oh, it's there. I might just pop it on. And you might get one or two people starting to come back via this. Plus, again, just the ease of it. Just imagine not having to go on my PC and log into the network and do all that, because my Fire Stick just doesn't like the app for some reason. And I've got to just get...
Disney Plus would make it so much easier. And as well, like to quote Andrew, they're like real life superheroes.
They are. You could put them in Marvel,
you'd have Star Wars, you'd have WWE. But that is a nerd's dream.
It's proof that it can jump from market to market and nothing's impossible. And I think that it makes absolute sense, potentially, if there is a platform, say like Disney Plus, that is global, is accessible, and they could get it all onto one service globally. I think you're laughing.
But there you go. But November 17th, if you're in the Philippines, check out WWE on Disney Plus. But we will be back later on with another news video.
Enjoy.
I know. Enjoy your Saturdays. We're off to, I don't know, I need a coffee. I'm really tired.
Yeah.
So we'll see you later.
Bye.